welcome back one more time for our class today on Sunday. I hope you're ready for today. As you can see, it's a little bit different from the past Sundays that y'all been with us, during the class. So today our class is gonna be, based on the life of Daniel. Probably already know the life of Daniel, right? But today we're gonna learn a little bit more about him. So the Bible said that back in the days when Daniel were a young kid or boy, he and his friends, the Bible says his friends, this is Daniel, if you see it, that's Daniel right here. Then it's his friend Ananias, Mishael, and Zechariah. They were friends. So the Bible says that they were taken captive by the king of Babylon. Remember the king of Babylon? Sometimes remember that it was hard for us to pronounce it when we were in the class. It was the name of the king was Nabucodonosor or something, or Nabucodonosor. Something like that. But probably you can say it better than I can say it. So the Bible said that they were taken captive only because they were young and they were healthy looking guys. And because the king, that's all he wanted. He wanted like all the guys, who were young to be taken captive so they can serve, on the king's palace. So once they were captive, they were taken to inside probably it was like for them to, to be ready to serve the king. But before that, they had to go through the process. That they had to, the king, ordered the guy who was in charge of them to feed them the same way that king used to eat. He used to eat, different types of food. But since they were, they were his faith, they were trying to be loyal to God. So they refused to eat what the king ordered them to eat, So the Bible said that they only eat grains and fruits, vegetables, and water. That's all they eat. They refused to eat what the king, asked them to eat because they wanted to obey God. They wanted to show, that they have faith in him. They wanted to show that they trust in him. So that, as they were there in the kingdom, the time passed by, and then the king, he ordered, to build like a statue. So as you can see right here, he ordered, for the man that served in his kingdom to build a statue. And he said that everybody had to worship the statue and had to pray, worship him and praise the statue. And whoever does not do that, they're gonna be punished. So the friends of Daniel, like I said before, which was Ananias, Zechariah, and Messiah, they to try not to obey the king's order. So they decide, to follow God's rules. So they decide not to do it. So as the Bible said that they didn't do it, remember that the king said that he was going to punish everyone who did not obey what he said. So as these three guys right here, Messiah, Zechariah, and Ananias, they decide not to obey. Guess what happened? The king orders, for them to be thrown into the you can call it like oven. Back in the day, it was like a huge oven, and he said that it was he ordered them, to be thrown in there. So guess what happened? Since they were loyal to God, they decided to obey God, even though in those hard times when they had to do what the other people, wanted to do, but they refused not to do it because they want to be, obedient to God. So they decided not to do it. So guess what happened? Since God, was with them all the time, even though the king ordered, for them to be thrown into this place to get burned, because that was the punishment for whoever didn't obey God. So God sent his angel to protect them, and the Bible said that as soon as the king, they were hoping for the guys to burn, probably to scream because it was real hot, probably they were trying to probably to hear like them crying or yelling or asking for mercy, but they didn't hear nothing at all. So what happened was the Bible said that the king, got close to this place where they were supposedly get burned, and he saw 4 men instead of 3. So he went and asked, the guys, their servant, and he asked them, okay, I told you to put them in, inside. I told them to do only the 3 guys, but I see 4. Well, who was the 4th one? It was God. It was the angel of God who was protecting them because they decided to be loyal to God. So God, since they decided to be loyal to God, God decided to be loyal to them too because of their faith. So this king, time passed. So this king wasn't there no more. Probably the Bible said that he passed away. So now a new king came to Zero Babylon. So now he was reigning in there. He was being the king. He was being the ruler in there. So now what happened was, remember that there were like all the people who used to work for the new king. There were 3 guys. The Bible doesn't tell us their name. That they were so jealous of Daniel that they went up to the king. The name of the king was a king of, I'm sorry, let me put this back in. The Bible said that they went up to the king and told the king, to make like a rule, like a decree or something that said that whoever didn't, obey him again, it was an order that they wanted him to do. So now the name of this king now, remember that king before, he was not there no more. So the new king that is now there, his name was Darius. So this king Darius, the Bible said that he was like a good friend of Daniel. So Daniel was working with him. So, but remember that these other people that were so jealous of him because he was probably the right hand, or he was a close guy to work with the king. So they got so jealous and they came up to the king and they said, "Oh, you should build a statue, a gold statue made out of gold, in order that whoever don't pray to that, make a rule that for 30 days, probably it was like around 30 days, that nobody, can ask or seek answers from no one, but only from you." You know why they decided to do this? Because they knew that Daniel was so faithful and loyal to God that he always prayed to God 3 times a day, in the morning, in the evening, and at night. He used to pray to God no matter what, even though he was in this strange city. He wasn't there. He wasn't from there. He wasn't foreign in that city. He still prayed God. He still, was loyal to God. Even on those small little things, he was being loyal to God. So the king probably, he got, involved with all these ideas of these other guys. So he decided to, okay, go ahead and make that decree. And remember back in the day that whenever the king used to do that, it was something that he cannot take away, or there was something that he cannot regret doing it because he was already there. And remember back in the days, they used to use the ring to seal whatever rule, whatever decree the king said, and it was like, it cannot be destroyed. So once he did it, he remembered that his friend used to worship the only God, that God of Israel. So probably he got sad, or probably his heart, inside his heart, probably he was so, sad because he knew that his friend, that he close, the close guy, which was Daniel, he was going to be punished because of that, because he knew that he wasn't going to do what he asked him to do because he was loyal to God. So he was going to follow, God, instead following all the things that, humans like him just put in front of him. Say, okay, you're not going to worship God, you're going to worship this. So he knew that Daniel was going to probably deny doing it, probably he was not going to, do it the same way as his friend did and decide, not to bow down to the other statue. So guess what happened? So these 3 guys came up to the king and said, "Hey, remember that you said on your decree that everybody has to come to you for wisdom, has to come to you for probably, just to, for any question that anybody has, they have to come to you instead of going to their gods." So he said, yes. And he said, well, guess what? Daniel is not doing what you said. So for that, he needs to be punished. So the king, even though he didn't want that to happen to Daniel, he had to, let Daniel to be punished. And one of those punished was that they had to be thrown into the lion den. Imagine this. Imagine the lions being there, probably hungry for days, hungry for weeks. They just were like probably desperate for food. So the king, even though he was real sad on his heart, he was like, okay, I know that it's you, Daniel, but please pray to your God and hopefully he will save you in there. So guess what happened? Daniel got thrown into the lion's den. So there's Daniel into the lion's den. So imagine him, or imagine yourself in the middle of the lions. Have you ever been to the zoo? I've been into the zoo. I don't really like to go, close to the lion cage because I don't like lions. So imagine him being in the middle of all these lions, hungry lions, desperate for food, desperate to go in. So guess what happened? So Daniel wasn't screaming or probably feeling sorry of himself. He was just there, because he knew that God was going to take him out of the place safe. He was going to protect him because he was being loyal to God. And he knew that God wanted, he was going to do something, for him to save him out of there. So what happened was that he started praying to God. Imagine all these lions, right? So he started praying to God, and God sent again his angel. Guess what the angel did? The Bible said that the angel closed all the lions' mouths, so that way they could not eat Daniel. That way, Daniel could be safe. So he sent the angel, so Daniel was being protected there. He was being safe because he was being loyal to God. Even though he went through all these things, he was being safe. So the Bible said that he came out safe out of the lion den. So it's like the same thing today. We can go through many things right now. Even though we can, if we go outside, we see a lot of things going on. If we turn on the TV, we can hear a lot of news going on. We can, all those things, same as Daniel and his friends, probably, I know that there's a hard time, like they said, it's hard time right now. They ask us to do this, but we're going to obey God. Same thing for us today. A lot of things can happen out there. Probably your friends are getting sick, or probably close friends are, with this virus thing going on, they might feel like desperate. They might feel lonely. They might feel, okay, God is not here. God cannot protect me. Guess what? You can tell them, yes. If God saved, his friends of Daniel from the fire, from getting burned, if he protect Daniel from the lions to be, eaten by the lions. So today's day, seeing God that protecting can protect us. Even though no matter what's going on out there, no matter what happened out there, if we, stay and keep loyal ourselves to God, if we keep praying like he did. Remember that key that Daniel used was praying. That was his key, that key for him. It was praying to God. Not only because sometimes I forgot to pray, but then I remember to pray now. So no, the Bible says that we have to pray every single time. So the same thing I ask you today, guys. Same as Daniel, same as his friend, we have to be loyal to God. And that way God is going to take care of us anywhere we are in any situation. So I hope you like the story for today. I hope you like it. And I hope that you can turn us back on next Sunday for a different story, so we can all learn together. Thank you guys, and I hope you like it. See you next Sunday. Bye.